Peace, peace, peace. I am Philip Roundtree. So, unfortunately, and a matter of fact, I'm not going to say unfortunately. Fortunately, Morant has been suspended by the NBA for 25 games for his most recent incident on Instagram Live, where he was allegedly brandishing a firearm, which scuttlebutt around the NBA and being reported by reporters was that his team alleged that it was a toy gun. Exactly. Exactly. Right. I don't know who's buying that, but it's just it's this was the tipping point of at least a year of unhealthy behaviors exhibited by Ja, whether it's the allegations of him punching a 17-year-old at his house after a basketball game, or his mama calling him up to come to the Foot Locker or the Finish Line, whatever sneaker store in the mall it was, because she wasn't being treated fairly. Him being on Instagram lives on video, chugging bottles of liquor. It's just unfortunate. What it screams out as another black man, black. I call them black boys because for so many of them, there's such a lack of development that have taken place where they continue to operate as children. They continue to operate as adolescents by not making the healthiest choices. And so for Ja, it was in his best interest. Outside of NBA, it's not about him losing the bag. Yes, he will lose approximately $7 million, but that means nothing because the trajectory that he was on with this pattern of unhealthy behaviors is usually devastating for black boys and black men. When he went down to the whatever clinic he went to, and I guess he was inpatient for a few days to work on whatever issues that he talked about when during his interview with Jalen Rose, and just him coping, and then he came back like 4 days later, and I'm just like, that's not enough time. My stance was he needed to be suspended for not even necessarily suspended. Again, I want to get this language out of here. It's not even about just suspension. You need to be sat down. You need to be sat down. You need to be loved on. You need somebody to hold you accountable. Because it's clear the adults in your life haven't done that. It's obvious. And you're like, Phil, he's a grown man. He makes his own decision. My mama is not calling me to come to Foot Locker, the Finish Line, to because she's in a jam, because somebody disrespected her, because somebody smudged her Puma. My mama not calling me for that. As a parent, I don't know what parent is calling their child to come handle some business for them where potential violence can erupt. That's not what that is. There wouldn't be this continuous pattern of behavior. Or if it was, the parents not going to be like his pop. They not going to be on the sideline all blinged up like they supporting what's taking place. If it wasn't going to be the NBA that sat him down as a parent, you going to sit him down like, nah. And you're like, again, he's a grown man. I literally watched Bam Adebayo, his mother, call him in the midst of a press conference. And he said, Mom, I'm in a press conference. And it was apparent that she said, I don't give a damn. Or something to that effect, because he had to have that conversation. But when we talk about these superstar athletes and they're getting so much money at such a young age, they become the breadwinners of the family. Who's going to tell him anything? He's worth $200 million. And we see his pop get down, how he walks the sideline, how it's just like he's living vicariously through his son, which again doesn't bode well for the wellness of Ja Morant. I know so many people are focused on you losing the bag. But again, what about his life? What about this young black brother's life? That's meaningful. And so hopefully this 25 game suspension and the programs that he's going to have to complete are impactful, are meaningful. Hopefully it's just not business as usual. Listen, I'm just going to go through them so I can get back on the court. Because again, this unhealthy pattern of behavior is just going to continue. So again, I'm glad he's being sat down. He needs time away. I would say an entire season. And you're like, Phil, that might be harsh. An entire season? So again, I don't give a damn about basketball. We're talking about the life of a person. An NBA Commissioner Adam Silver was stated that the potential for other young people to emulate Ja's conduct is particularly concerning. Under these circumstances, we believe a suspension of 25 games is appropriate and makes clear that engaging in reckless and irresponsible behavior with guns will not be tolerated. For Ja, basketball needs to take a back seat. Prior to his return to play, he will be required to formulate and fulfill a program with the league that directly addresses the circumstances that led him to repeat this destructive behavior. And so what I have to say to that, I have to say kudos. Somebody has to be the adult. Somebody has to be the adult in the room. And it's clear it's not going to be Ja's mom. It's not going to be T. Morant. It's not going to be his peers on the team. It's not going to be the Memphis Grizzlies. It had to be Adam Silver. And so if it would have been a year, I would have been cool with that too. If they say, yo, you can't play ball no more, then again, listen, I recognize that how meaningful that is. We're talking about generational wealth. We're talking about his livelihood. But that's part of the problem, right? Because you over-identify with this one role. You lean into it so hard that everything around it means what? Unhealthy decisions that are going to be made. And so hopefully this gives Ja the opportunity to lean into his wellness, lean into his mental health, lean into potential substance abuse issues, lean into addiction to truly understand it. Because again, we want to see him around. We've seen too many athletes lose it all because they didn't know how to cope. So listen, man, that's my quick rant. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Share with a homie. Peace.